You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. I am so excited today. I mean, you guys know I'm so excited a lot of times, but today of all day, I am with a distinguished professional with a diverse educational and career background. It's so huge, people. I'm telling you. She holds a doctorate in business administration and leadership, along with dual master's degrees. Look at this right here. Sociology, criminology, and mental health counseling. She is a native of New Jersey, people. I'm telling you. You have no idea what is about to unfold. She moved here. She resides in Cape Coral. It's a beautiful thing. She spans over 15 years, during which she has been a pivotal figure in the social service and behavioral health industries. Okay. We're going to kind of leave it right there. And I'm just going to say, without further ado, help me bring to the stage Miss Dawn Belamarich.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for that introduction.
Yes. Listen, people, it's a whole lot more.
Right. You did well. You did very well.
We're gonna touch on all that other stuff as well. So, what we want to do with our listeners, we want you to take us back to the early years, to the young girl that beautiful little girl that was running around in New Jersey. What was that like?
So I was born in Toms River, New Jersey, which is, some say central, some say South Jersey. And I was the oldest child of my mom and dad. So my parents had me relatively young. Okay. They were met in high school, right after high school. So my mom was 20 years old when she had me.
Wow. Okay.
And it was an interesting road. I'm the oldest of four. Okay. So I have three younger brothers, which explains a lot of my personality.
Boss lady.
Yeah, exactly. Born into leadership. Yeah. And I was sporty. Okay. So I'll give you kind of a rundown. I loved school. I always did a great job at school, but I was a soccer player.
Oh. Okay.
So pretty early on, there was financial issues growing up. We didn't have a ton of means. So I was a tap dancer and a soccer player.
Whoa.
And I had to choose between dance and soccer. So I ultimately chose soccer and worked out well in the long haul. But yeah, it was an interesting, sometimes sad journey growing up. But I had three really cool brothers. So
we got to break for a minute here. You chose soccer over. I couldn't see you doing the tap.
Bud. No, you can't. You can't see me tap dancing. Can I tell you if I came in here and I'm like, I tap dance on the weekends?
Do you?
No. If I would have met you and told you that, you would not have believed me for a second.
Probably would not believe
you.
You.
I know.
What position did you play in soccer?
I was a forward, so goal scorer.
Oh, you scored a lot of goals.
Yes. I did not enjoy running back for defense, so I was not interested in any midfield position. But I really did do I was a left wing in college, and I was a striker in high school.
Wow. That is amazing. Now, as the oldest, and you have three brothers. Now, this is where this gets really juicy. What was that like? Did they listen to you?
Yeah. So when I was around 9 years old, my father left. Okay. So my brothers I have a brother that's a year younger than me, less than a year younger than me, and then an 8-year age difference between the next two brothers. Wow. So my younger brothers are very young. Okay. So I did take on I call it a leadership role. At the time, a very parentified role because I have a single mom now with 4 kids. Right. I would say they don't listen at all, very minimally, but that is what made it fun. They're great. We're best friends to this day, all of us. Beautiful. But I think it just gave me a lot of responsibility.
Okay.
You know, I felt this sense of there's 3 younger people and I have to help keep them alive and keep the train moving. So it was fun. I think it also made for a very close bond between all of us because we were in this together.
Right.
So yeah, it was interesting and stressful and burdensome at time, but now older, I wouldn't exchange it for the world.
That's beautiful. So because you said dad left, so I imagine that's when things kind of get a little strenuous a little bit.
Yeah, I would say they were strenuous the whole time. I wouldn't say there was like a big, you know, it was not a huge stretch when he left that there was a big change.
Okay.
My mom worked a lot of jobs, you know, so that was rough. And it certainly wasn't growing up wealthy in any way.
Okay.
I think my mom did a great job in really taking care of 4 people like me. And now that you know me a little bit, it's a little extra.
Right.
And really giving us, you know, manners, structure.
Right.
You know, she was not playing games. You know, there was a lot of direction and guidance. And yeah, it was sad the whole time because you just kind of knew there was a situation going on. But it did make it, I think, being in school and playing soccer, I tried extra hard because I knew that those were ways out, you know, ways to the next thing.
That's beautiful. So you were managing soccer and your academic quite well.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say managing it well. I definitely did well because I will put in the work.
Right.
I wouldn't say that mentally everything was on the up and up, but I worked a full-time job from 15 on.
What?
I was a Boston market supervisor.
Okay.
4 years. It's so fun to tell this story. And I played soccer, and I was an all-state soccer player that actually ended up giving me a full ride to college.
That's beautiful.
And I did pretty well in school, but it was more the perfectionist piece than being super skilled at things.
Yes.
You know, I have to, still to this day, I have to work very hard.
Right.
I didn't have any natural abilities outside of maybe leadership because that was a learned behavior.
Right.
That just came supernatural to me.
Wow. That is beautiful right there. So before you end high school, you already had an idea what you were doing when you go to college.
Kind of. Well, I had just like best laid plans. I loved soccer. I thought I was good enough to go to school for free, which was step number 1. We didn't have any money to go to school.
Right.
So, but I was also playing with, I was the age group of like the Carly Lloyds and the other soccer players.
Okay.
They were clearly way better than me, right? So I had this sense of reality.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, I'll go to college, and if this works out, great. At that time, women's soccer wasn't a payable job. Right. There was, Mia Hamm was the only one really making a living.
Right.
So I wanted to be in the FBI. I wanted to be a forensic scientist.
Ooh, okay.
I really loved a show growing up called The X-Files.
The X-Files.
Yes, you know this.
Mulder.
Mulder, that's right. And I wanted to be in the FBI. So I went for a bachelor's in chemistry in science. I ended up changing to go into more of a forensic science major. And then things changed course after I got my first big girl job.
Wow.
And I went in a totally different direction, but that was the road.
So internship pushed you into that?
It was not internship that pushed me. So I interned at a prosecutor's office. I saw autopsies. I went to crime scenes. I went through the process for the FBI, so background check, all of that. And then I got my first job out of my first master's degree at a prison.
Oh,
I was working with the prison population, and there was a gentleman there that was about 80 plus years old.
In prison?
Yeah, he was in prison. I want to say it was a homicide or something. It was severe. I mean, he was there for life. And he had 30 plus children by like 30 different women. And I was so triggered by it during our meeting.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just carrying on through life, going to do these plans. And that was a turning point in my career because I remember leaving and being like, why am I so bothered by this guy? You know, like who cares? Like, why? And it made me do a deep dive exploration in myself and my own issues. You know, I ended up being so close to this gentleman until, you know, he passed away in prison.
Right.
But it made me go down the route of therapist.
Wow.
It totally changed direction for me because I started to look into, you know, a little inner work.
Inner work.
Oh, wow. Correct.
I totally understand that. So, because you've devoted a lot of your time your past careers and stuff into substance and all these different things when it comes to addiction and stuff like that. What was one of the things why you wanted to help so much?
Well, I don't know if there was one thing. There's certainly addiction and mental health issues in my family.
Okay.
So it's a personal thing.
Right.
You know, like every human, I've struggled with my own mental health challenges.
Right.
But I think the big propel for it was, to me, to go into the helping industry was seeing how much of an impact I could make on myself.
Right.
You know, selfishly, that gentleman launched me into a path where, like, I had to start figuring me out.
Yeah.
You know, I had to start being the best version of me so that I didn't repeat generational trauma. I didn't repeat the cycles that I had seen.
Right.
And I really wanted to give that back. And it went on a really cool tour. I mean, my first job as a therapist was in a high school.
Okay.
And I worked with high school kids that were struggling around the same time I started, you know, having a challenging time. And it just expanded from there. I fell in love with addiction, I think, mainly because many of my friends are impacted by addiction. But also it's a very specific personality type that is able to hang in addiction treatment. And I am certainly built for that. You know,
good,
I like a challenge. I like, you know, it's almost trying to figure out a puzzle.
Right.
The disease is so manipulative, so in your face that it really inspired me.
Right.
You know, and I have spent probably the last 12 or 13 years of my career specifically in addiction treatment.
And wow. Did you ever get a chance to sit down with that old man?
Mine?
No.
Or the other
one that was in prison.
Oh. So I worked at that job for a little while, and then he did pass away relatively quickly after I had left. So it ended. But in my time I was there, I sat down with him probably more than anyone because it was helping me. Like, it was giving me so much that it was pretty exciting. I still can't remember his name. I feel like a terrible therapist.
That's okay. But his actions have you very curious.
It flipped the script for me because it just, you know, I could have went off and tried the FBI route and done these things, but, you know, wherever you go, there you are.
This is true.
It really forced me to do some deep work to be like, okay, how do you have this figured out? Why are you responding like this? And it's something I carry with me to this day. Wow.
In that time when you were in the prison system, what was the relationship like with mom?
Mom is good. We've always had a decent relationship as the daughter with a mom, the mom-daughter relationship. That's always a fascinating one. Again, I think it's the similarities between us that makes the triggering sometimes, but good. I would say it's much better over the last decade. Okay. Because when I was in my younger, you know, I'm going to figure myself out. I'm free.
Yeah.
But decent.
What made you want to move to Southwest Florida?
Wow. So I had purchased, my husband has a friend that has a home in Cape Coral.
Okay.
And for the last decade or so, we had been coming down here fairly regularly for a vacation.
Okay.
In 2017, he came to us and said, hey, there's a great deal on a home down here you would love. Yeah. And we took a chance and we purchased it.
Oh, okay.
So we had a home down here that we weren't planning on moving to for a long time.
I see.
Until the opportunity at Lee Health presented itself.
Okay.
So when that opportunity came up, it was, you know, sent to me by someone I know, and I came down and met with the crew, and it just seemed like the right time, the right culture, the right organization, and I took the chance.
Wow.
I moved down here.
How did your friends feel when you were leaving?
I don't know if they told me how they felt. I mean, they're probably like excited not to have to hear my voice for a little bit. They're like, thank God. But that was the hardest part.
Right.
And I actually ask people this now when they're moving here and they ask for my opinion. I'm born and raised in Jersey.
Right.
You know, that's a very specific place.
Yes.
And there are people I can call there that will give me the brutal, honest truth because they've known me for 40 plus years.
Right.
You're starting over.
Right.
You know, you're moving down. You don't have friends, social groups. You know, I moved down 3 days before Hurricane Ian. So I didn't even know if I had a job.
Wow.
So you start over, but once you get through the discomfort.
Yes.
And you go out authentically into the world. Right. It's really worked itself out clearly.
Right.
But that's a hard part. I talk to a lot of my Northeastern friends pretty regularly because I'm still looking for that tribe that's going to give it to me straight, without like fear.
Yes.
And, that has that historical knowledge. So
you think for individuals that would want to be brutally honest with you, they fear giving you that because they fear losing a friendship or something?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahas.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
I don't know if people fear it after they get to know me. I would hope that people in this building give me some level of truth, because there's some trust that we're building.
Yes.
But I think it takes time. So I don't think it's fear or scared, but people have feelings. I think my past, especially in addiction treatment, your feelings become irrelevant pretty quickly, right? You learn to really just take the good and take the good, and then you take the good things out of the bad, and you move on.
And you move on with it.
I am fairly direct.
Okay.
I don't think inappropriately direct.
Good.
And I think I open the doors for people to give that back to me.
That's beautiful.
But it takes time.
It does, yes. This is good. So far you're doing good with that.
I hope so, yes. You can ask around, but I think so far so good.
This is good. So you got with Lee Health, and that was going good because you would build a team there, and well, this was in a challenging time though.
Correct.
How do you feel the people you was among and in whole, how did we handle that situation?
As a region?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give two different answers come to my head when you say that. So in the direct aftermath, this is the second catastrophic hurricane I've been in, because I was in Hurricane Sandy in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And the day after the storm, so let's say wind stop at 11 p.m. midnight, by 8 a.m. the next morning, I saw every neighbor out in everyone's yard helping clean up, helping fix. I didn't see that in Atlantic City.
Right.
So an immediate response, and the sense of community here I felt was very strong. As a mental health provider, it became very clear to me the systems that weren't in place.
Right.
And, I'm coming in. Hurricane Ian, in a way, for mental health is this great unifier. Because now it's not those people, right? It's we're all in this together.
Yes.
But then when you're trying to find access points and services for people in need, and pretty quickly I'm realizing there aren't any.
Right.
That really demonstrated to me the system challenges we have here.
Right.
And it's not something we could have set up the day before Ian. It has to come over time.
Over time, yeah.
Right. But that was very clearly something I saw as a break in the system.
Wow. Now, you got a chance to work with a lot of those individuals. How did they feel when you decide you're leaving them?
Well, as I didn't ask them specifically their feelings, but I do know that there was a lot of support, and I'll tell you why. So there was no master plan.
Right.
You know, I had met Sarah and the team here really through my work at Lee Health, and the opportunity was very supported by Sarah, and you know, really came about because of my leadership style.
Right.
You know, I'm very much an operator who wants to take a vision and make it executionable.
Yes.
And Sarah was a big champion behind you're the next leader for that.
Right.
Lee Health is really trying to, you know, do their own thing and focus on their hospital system. And they really saw me as a partner in that work.
Yes.
By coming over here, we could focus on the social causes we're championing and have them at the table.
Right.
So it was a bummer, I think, who I've never left anything in such a short period of time, but the positive side of it that most saw, and that's why they're still partners to this day, was that this is going to be stronger and better for our region with this relationship.
That's beautiful. What you think is the difference between a boss and a leader?
I could give you a list a mile long, but let me start.
Yes.
A boss is telling people what to do. A leader is showing them. A boss gives directives while a leader guides.
Yes.
A boss to me is someone who does timesheets and will check box the activities. A leader has no interest in doing any of those things. To me, leadership is truly a privilege, whereas being a boss sometimes feels like the next step you get to.
Right.
And to me, it's responsibility leadership.
Yes.
You know, I've had many bosses, as I'm sure you have.
Yes.
And you know they're a boss.
Yes.
You know, they'll tell everybody they know, right? They have pamphlets. Leadership to me is this idea that you are able to come in, assess situations, you're able to rally a team, you're able to inspire, and you're able to get people to the vision.
Right.
And I think bosses sometimes, and not all, you know, but to me, leadership is so significantly different because it's not a check the box activity.
Right.
But you know, I love leadership. So Kim, I hope Kim's not listening because she's so over it.
I like that. I want you to take us back to a time when you were in a game and you guys really was looking forward to winning that game and you lost the game. What happened?
This is the horror story of my life. I don't know if I should tell this. So I actually talk about this with my husband a lot because this is a bad day. So my senior year in high school, my final game of the playoffs, I missed a penalty kick and we lost the game. And we did not go to the finals for my senior year. And I shanked it. Like, it was awful.
Wow.
And I almost did not want to go to college and play because of that. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not I think a big character defect for me is I do not enjoy losing at anything. You know, it's that competitive streak. But it did probably teach me more than winning would have, right? So you take that for what it's worth.
Yes. That was beautiful. So if I was to say, your husband is pretty supportive of everything you do.
Yeah, he's the best. He's polar opposite of me, right? Because could not have two me's. Yeah. And he's just always been super supportive. You know, when we were going to take the job down at Lee Health, he still goes up, you know, and works for a couple months. And he just is, I'm like, I want to get my doctorate. He's extremely supportive. He's very, I always say it, he's like that quiet acceptance that he really wants to see me achieve everything that I set out to.
That's beautiful. What would you say to a company that they hire an individual that display all this boss characteristic, they're liking it, but then the complaints come in and they don't know how to fix it?
So, I mean, I think the most important step for any responsible leader is in hiring. So it would have started before this.
Right.
But to me, you know, if there's a leader above the boss, then there needs to be progressive conversations and coaching. There are I've worked with thousands of team members at this point and promoted thousands of leaders.
Right.
People have to understand the responsibility that comes with that and be flexible and be willing. But that happens through uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
So my recommendation is have the uncomfortable conversations, you know, appropriately and professionally, but don't let things linger.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like there's this level of indebtedness that people feel to a person instead of a mission.
Right.
And when you're dedicated to a mission, to a cause, to getting something done, you have to do what's best for that. And that requires hard conversations to get people where they have to be. And on the flip, it requires people to have hard conversations with me and for me to be accepting of that and not cower. So I think that that's really, really important, is embrace it. Get in there, roll up your sleeves, and do the work that needs to be done. And it's to get people to the next level or to get them to where they need to be, right? Has to be the best players on the team.
I love that. I love that. In your past career, working with alcoholics and, individuals in those fields, how difficult do you think it is for them to really be honest about their situation?
Wow. I'll say this. Once a substance comes out of your system and you're suffering to that level, I think honesty comes, it's not 100% honesty. Maybe you get 50%, 60%, 70%, hopefully leading to 100%. The biggest challenge that I have seen for people struggling with this disease is sustaining change.
Okay.
It's the same thing with leadership.
Yes.
Behavior change requires time in, effort, tenure, right? It takes 21 days, I think, to learn a new habit. Addiction is the same.
Right.
I can't just keep someone in treatment for 7 days and remove the opiates, send them back into the same environment and be like, why are you back? Right? It takes time and it takes work. So it's not as much the acceptance and the honesty as much of it's the behavior change. And the sustainable change that it takes to be, this is your primary coping strategy. And now we've taken it away.
You feel a lot of the systems that are put in place that work with these individuals are not as structured, why they have so many cases that have failed?
I think the system is set up for crisis, and it's not set up to really serve anyone at the point of least restrictive service. So, I'll give you an example I see every day in my life. If I'm having a mental health emergency today, let's say, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm having an outburst. Someone's taking me to a crisis unit. They're not calling an outpatient therapist so that I can start on a program. We think of mental health here as a very specific crisis state. And 99% of the patients I've worked with in my life are not in crisis at all. They're having a human experience, right? They're having a day like maybe I'll have tomorrow, and they're having it for 3 weeks. But we need to demystify the idea that the only way to access a mental health service or an addiction service is at the lowest point. And we need to meet people in their daily life and provide the services they need to not end up there.
Well, what do you feel is the reason a lot of us jump to a conclusion, judging on individuals that find themselves in these situations?
Well, I think historically, and you can go all the way back to time, I mean, mental health specifically was a place, these were hospitals that the state ran that we just sent people. So the stigma is around there's a certain character type or defect that a person has with this. What is not evolved with the changes in the way we've housed and treated mentally ill patients is the fact that the population of people struggling with mental health has changed as well. Society has gotten harder. Life has gotten more challenging. We're connected all the time, right? There's no balance. And we need to evolve our services to keep up with the advances in technology and society. So it's also scary. I mean, there's many people I know that use illicit substances intravenously, right? And that's a scary thought for someone who's not using. That's someone shooting drugs into a vein, right? But it is a little, there's layers too, because we're not rating that and stigmatizing the same way we are someone that sits at a bar 7 days a week.
I like that.
There's a perspective too. There's layers of addiction and there's layers of stigma around that. Because if I said that 2 people are in treatment today and one's using intravenous heroin and the other one's drinking 7 days a week, we would have different thoughts around that. As a society.
You think we're anywhere close to addressing a lot of that where we think differently on that?
I think we're getting better around mental health specifically. I think addiction has a long way to go. But, we certainly talk about mental health differently than even when I was growing up. I think the next thing that has to change is the system. And one of the reasons collaboratory was so exciting for me is because that is the goal here, right?
Is the goal, yes.
We can keep band-aiding these things and
Right.
trying to pretend it's making a difference.
Right.
But to my earlier point, we need to invert the system.
Yes.
And we need to give people access at the preventative, lower restrictive level instead of constantly putting the stigma on mental health and addiction that they have to wait until their lowest low.
Right. Wow. I like that right there. You feel that with everyone highlighting where we at now with Gen Z having such a big impact on how society function, you think we have accepted that, the millennials and the Gen X?
Like the idea of therapy and the more, I think we've accepted it more.
Okay.
But anytime to me I watch numbers continue to readily increase and we've have more acceptance, then I start saying like, okay, then what is wrong with the system?
Right.
Because if everything was on the up and up and we increased access to mental health services, why are the numbers so dramatically higher? Is it now everybody's just coming forward magically with their mental health challenges?
Right.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just constantly feel like we're getting so much farther. We're making so much progress. I don't want to negate that. It's important.
Yes.
But the next step has to be that like maybe we need to have some restrictions on the things that we've created here with social media and work-life balance. And because we can't just open up more avenues for people, but not change the systemic issues that bring them there.
Right.
You know, that creates generational trauma, that creates generational learned behavior, and we will be duplicating efforts on repeat if we don't go to the root source.
You think because of how the structuring is, if it's possible to break that to be able to address some of it and to fix it?
It's anything is possible. I mean, that's why I'm here. I know it's possible. Yeah, for sure. But I think the challenge is leaders who are going to step up to the plate.
Right.
And this is why I really am so obsessed, some will say, with leadership.
Right.
It's the make or break. You know, someone has to come forward and say, I am done doing things the same old way. Scariest 7 words in the English language. We have always done it that way.
Yes, yes.
And someone has to say, I don't care about, you know, beliefs, politics, we're going to do things the right way. And someone has to interrupt the system to make the changes that are needed.
Right.
But that requires strong people that, you know, are willing to stand up for that.
Right.
Strong leadership.
Having a bunch of those individuals around in a room with you, how important is agree to disagree?
The most important component of life.
Yes.
I mean, if everyone agreed with me every single day, I would, well, first of all, I was not raised in that family. My brothers they could care less about anything I do.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird thing to think that not only can we not agree to disagree or that we can't constructively debate, but that people think it's not a healthy part of evolution.
That's
you know,
it right there.
It really is. You know, how do you learn if you don't see different perspectives?
Right. I like that right there. With you coming into the collaboratory space with the tasks that collaboratory has at hand, and I think there's a window.
Yes.
What does it look like? What does the reality of achievement look like?
Well, I feel very confident we're going to get to where we need to get to. I'm always going to feel that way.
Yes.
I think the window is more a vision than this stressful timeline that I feel, you know, set to. And I will tell you, I feel more confident than ever because with Future Makers and education and workforce, right? The team here worked hard to cut down the siloing and bring people together.
Right.
Now, as we expand into the other causes that our region wants us to serve as the container for, we don't have to fight some of those old school ways of thinking. Right. And now it's really just about the work. Right. So is it going to be hard? Are we going to probably fail a couple times and fail fast and keep? Yes. Right. This is experimental. But what's really cool is the idea that we have all these little organizations doing their single thing now come together. Yes. And we say, okay, why is mental health not working? Right. Why is housing in a crisis? Right. We're not going to just keep doing these little things. We're going to make some system level change. Right. No one is doing that. Right. This is very true. You know, I just feel really privileged to be the leader of something like that, because I really feel we can make tremendous progress in
Yes.
getting to where we're going.
I like that. I really feel with that attitude we can move some change. Yes.
Yes, for sure.
And I know you have possibly heard some of the stories moving here of the possibility on why there's still certain organization function segregatively, if I can pronounce that word correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I hear about it. I see it.
Yeah.
There is this, I call it the luxury of naivete
Yes.
that I have.
Yes.
So everything to me is like the first time I've seen something, and I'm just like, you know, okay, what is happening? But
Yeah.
there's also, to me, it screams opportunity.
Yes.
I'm from the Northeast,
Yes.
and there is this emphasis up there on constant innovation and constant competition and challenge, which is incredible
Right.
because you're constantly evolving.
Yes.
Here, it feels almost like the first snow day
Right.
when no one's walked outside yet.
Yes.
You know, like it's ripe with opportunity
Yes.
because some of those things haven't been down here. You know, I do embrace it sometimes, is that where if I see something that's like systematically strange to me, or like competitive siloing or this, I try to spin it into opportunity, because I think people do better when they know better.
I like that. If Celine Dion has a concert the same night as Dolly Parton, who would you go?
Celine Dion. I mean, Dolly. I mean, until I'm blue in the face. That was the easiest question ever. Now, like if you're telling me like Biggie comes back from the dead and like Tupac comes back, that's like a hard challenging one for me. I was raised on country music, so Dolly Parton for the win. Nothing
Okay.
against Celine. I'm sure
Okay.
she puts on a great show.
Yeah.
But Dolly, and she's like a national treasure.
This is true.
She's a national treasure.
This is very true.
That's a great question.
So you've kind of embraced the country culture around the music. So you've got an opportunity to go to Nashville, because they said this is the birthplace
Who's
of
they? They said.
country music.
They said.
They said,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. I've been in Nashville.
Yeah. And it's what they say it is. I haven't been there yet.
Oh,
so-
you're missing out, Cornell. You need to go. Yes, so I was raised on country music.
Okay.
And I love country music. Nashville is everything and then some.
Wow.
I know that it is. I haven't been there in like a decade now, so I know it's probably busier and a little bit more chaotic. And some tell me, Dawn, it's not the Nashville you went to.
Right.
But it's full. It's the full scene.
Yes.
There are people in restaurants and bars that are auditioning for a contract.
Wow.
You know, like it's not karaoke in Atlantic City, right?
Yeah.
It's very legit, and it just has that country vibe. I've been through Dolly Parton's museum there.
Oh, yeah?
It's
Okay.
everything is very cool.
I'm a Kenny Rogers guy.
Yeah,
so
okay. Right.
beautiful
Well,
thing.
Islands in the Stream is both of them, so we can have a little back and forth. I think that's both of them.
I like that.
I'm
like
gonna
that.
need a fact check.
This is good. So you have embraced a little bit of the hip hop culture as well.
Oh yes.
Well, of course, New Jersey.
New Jersey gets such a bad rap. I think everything. So the only thing, someone asked me this, I
Yeah.
think last week I was doing something
Yeah.
about music. The only music genre that I could not get down with was like grunge. So I was raised on like the Nirvana, Pearl Jam,
Right.
and my husband listens nonstop. I cannot get down. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's because I was listening to country and late 90s, early 2000s rap,
Right,
right?
right.
And I just could not get interested in the grunge scene.
Right,
So I
right.
missed that whole
You missed that.
that whole generation right there.
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
missing out on anything, because I'm not a fan either.
Okay, good to know.
So this is good. So with the shift of what's going on right now we're not even going to say society. Let's bring it into Southwest Florida. How accepting you feel the mass that is here, that have kind of hold, I don't want to call them the gatekeepers, but have hold certain role. How you feel they're ready to let go some of that? Then?
I won't speak for their readiness. And I don't, I think what is happening in Southwest Florida is that there is this new there's diversity coming in a series of ways, right? This was historically Midwestern transients. There's a lot of Northeastern and outside of there. There's diverse race and ethnicity. There's diverse experiences, right? So I think what I'm seeing is that there's going to be more opportunities for that diversity to lead.
Okay.
And whether, I think in life, I haven't met a human, including myself, that's like eager for change and let's be uncomfortable. I've not met one person yet.
This is true.
I do enjoy discomfort greatly. I really do. But it's we're human.
Yes.
It's challenging.
Yes.
So the idea that there will be any force or people be like ready for change, no. But do I think that the need will be overwhelming and that it will bring so much creativity and innovation and great things that will be inevitable to deny?
Right.
Yes. And I think that that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I'm a New Jersey mental health leader with a doctorate in business, right? Leading a community foundation.
Yeah.
So it's putting that diversity in the right seats to see our community and our region flourish.
If a for-profit company that, they say money is no option, come to you and say, okay, they say, what are you guys capable of that's going to intrigue me to tap into what you guys are doing? What would you say to them?
It's a great question. I mean, to me, we are capable of forging every relationship to drive long-term change. I mean, to me, every single outcome that you look at from housing, transportation, mental health, education, and workforce is going in the wrong direction.
Right.
So all I would say is like, come sit here for a week.
Ooh.
Come engage in some of this work. You feel it.
Yeah.
I don't have to, I'm not going to speak for it, right? Come be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then come and watch all of the impact dashboards and data that we are using to tell the story move in the right direction.
Wow. I like that.
I think the story talks for itself. I mean, we have a lot of different storytelling that we've used as an organization, and there are great examples of past people trying and doing.
Right.
But for me, I come in here every day and I feel the energy immediately.
Right.
And I think that has more than its weight in gold.
Yes. I love that right there. A woman of your style and how decorative you are, was there ever another woman that you would look at and say, you know what, I like how she's moving. I like that she's creating impact. And
like one I've met in person?
Or if you haven't met them in person, that's okay too.
A real North Star woman to me is an Oprah type woman.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I'll explain it. Someone who's experienced relatively traumatic things, has built her own business, has given a lot of her money back.
Yes.
And seemingly to me, her character is representative of what she believes in. Like she lives what she preaches.
Yes.
Now, I've never met her. Maybe she's doing illegal things. I don't think so. But that would be a North Star.
Yes, I like that.
In person, I would say tons of women. Ironically, I think as I get a little older, my mom is someone that I look at in a way I did not as a younger person.
Okay.
Because I just felt like I'm shying away from everything that is, right? That is not my scene. But, now that I'm older and I'm looking at society and raising kids and raising 4 kids on your own and what it takes to really be a good role model and leader for youth, right? In challenging circumstances and with trauma. It's incredibly impressive to me.
Right.
So I think that is someone in real time that when you ask me, that comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
Because to me, leadership is modeling the appropriate behaviors to get people to a designated point.
This
and
is true.
man, she did a great job.
She did a great
job.
Yeah. Look at you.
There you go. Thank you.
So now this piece right here for me, I'm dying to hear what you say on this. So with as busy as you are in the work world, what does that look like on the home front?
I would say it's more balanced than it's been, and I'll tell you why. So I've spent the last 10 years in a 24/7 business.
Okay.
So it was terrible. There was no balance. I would work from 4 a.m. until midnight and sometimes overnight, and you'd get calls. I was in a crisis business.
Right.
So it's perspective. This is hard. This is a lot of commitments especially during this season thing we have down here. There's a lot of nights and weekend obligations, but it's never the level of life or death that I've experienced.
Good.
I'm very intentional with my time now on the weekend. I'm very intentional with my team's time.
Beautiful.
I try to give people their off time and respect that. It's not very on point for everyone here. I'm not trying to make eye contact with anyone. But, you know, it's this work in progress where like I really try to be intentional about like Saturday is husband day. I'm flying home this weekend to see my brothers.
Nice, nice.
But that I do those things, and instead of before I wouldn't have booked because I'd have to do 20 lines of due diligence to make sure that I've read through every calendar.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
So with that being said, you know how to cook?
No. I mean, I think I know how. Like, I definitely know how to do it. It's not an activity I engage in.
You don't,
No, my husband tells me, he's like, will I get meatballs once this year? Like, maybe I'll make it once. No. Nope.
No.
He says I'm very great at it, but it's not something I enjoy doing.
You said you're great at meatball.
Great at anything with like a red meat egg mix. So a meatloaf, a meatball.
So you're good at the sauce then. You can make a good sauce.
I can because my mom makes a decent sauce. But again, that's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And that I think is the part I really lost out on.
Okay.
The waiting, the patience.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. Not for me. So yeah, I probably, maybe I'll be a really great chef one day.
Yeah.
But that's
like maybe the other life.
Maybe your retirement life.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll start like a kitchen and cook. But I don't know. It's just not really my thing.
Yeah. I mean, you guys going to be waiting a very long time because she's still very young. So
I don't even know what I can cook. So just you're waiting for nothing.
There you go.
Could be a waste.
There's no expectations here.
Very good.
I like that. I like that. So how you feel we're doing right now with the current country situation and how we're dealing with what their priorities are instead of inside the country priority? How you feel we're doing?
Well, I don't, in truly staying apolitical, because that's not a factor for me.
Right.
I just don't agree, and I'll use a workplace as an example, with any sides competing against each other for the same cause.
Right.
So for me, I would love for us to come together and actually fight for the as mutually agreed upon, to your point, agree to disagree, that we can get to.
Yes.
And sometimes it just feels like we're fighting each other.
Right.
And I've led teams like that before, where you come in and there's, one contingent fighting another.
Right.
But the mission at the end of the day is the same. It's very confusing for me.
Yeah.
So I'll go back, like a strong leader who's going to step up to the plate and unite, and bring us back to like, we're all working towards, we're all in this together.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
Wow. I like that. For a young lady that is an extrovert, I just feel like
I am. Oh, such a great analysis.
You wouldn't agree that you were.
I'm joking, I am.
Okay, this is beautiful. So, because we have young ladies that have, they've displayed that and they've been getting a lot of defeats and they just feel like, I don't know if I want to take no more L's. I think I'm just going to throw in the towel. What would you say to them?
Don't do it. I mean, I have some other expletives I'd like to use, but I'm not in New Jersey and I'm not going to use them on your podcast. But, the answer is no. Like, collect your L's, put them in a basket and keep moving.
Wow.
To me, the number one thing I see in especially young females that maybe one day figure out a magical way to do this, but there's a lot of systems designed for L's.
Right.
And at some point you just have to realize, in order to break the system, you have to be the one that keeps going.
Yeah.
So the W's will come.
Yeah.
And, you'll find easier ways of scoring them. But find other females that are collecting them.
Wow.
Walk arm in arm with them and put your L's in a basket to the side and, keep it moving.
I love that. For our listeners, how can they support Dawn here at Collaboratory?
Come learn, come be a part of our mission, get involved, get excited, contribute to the cause, time, financially, whatever, moves you. But my big ask is like, come find out about us. Come, it's not just a beautiful building sitting in downtown where people gather. The magic is in the gathering.
Yes.
And if you are like me that supports causes, and let's say you donate annually to a cause your time or your wealth,
Right.
this is something where you can have a legacy around long, incremental, sustainable change for you and generations to come. So come find out about it.
Wow.
It's really, to me, of every path I've been on, the most incredible part of my professional journey.
I love that. I love that. Before we go, when you get up in the morning, what gets you pumped to go out the door?
Morning workout. Morning work. And I'll be honest, that's the only way, because I will be very off kilter the rest of the day.
Okay.
But I have to wake up. I have a very strong meditation, quiet practice.
Okay.
I can't be answering emails. I wake up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Beautiful.
And then I have to sweat.
Okay.
And then that is the good momentum for the day. It's the balance.
Oh my goodness. You guys heard it. Oh my goodness. This was beautiful.
Thanks, Cornell.
I had a whole lot of fun.
I did too. Thank you for having me.
You are so awesome.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you for being on the show.
Of course.
Well, there you guys have it. Until our next episode of Stories to Create podcast, right here, where we have a next decorative individual making moves and doing it big. Until then.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissinggorge and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.